Ever stumble upon a place that just feels richer than its reputation? Full of stories.
Hmm.
Well, today we're diving into one like that, Karimnagar in Telangana. We're skipping the megacities for a bit.
Yeah, heading somewhere different. It actually calls itself the Cultural Capital of Telangana.
It does. And we've got this fantastic, really detailed write-up to guide us through it.
And our aim is pretty simple, really. We want to pull out the most fascinating bits from the source material for you.
Give you the essence of it.
Exactly. A shortcut to understanding why Karimnagar is, well, significant and kind of alluring.
And honestly, the layers here are quite something. We're talking ancient kingdoms, unique crafts.
And then some surprising links to big moments in Indian history.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's get into it. What makes Karimnagar tick?
Well, Karimnagar's story, it goes way back. Our source starts, rightly so, with the historical roots.
Makes sense.
The first big chapter is the Satavahana dynasty. They were around from about the 2nd century BCE to the 2nd century CE.
A long time ago.
A very long time. And what's really interesting is they weren't just rulers sitting back. They were actively building trade networks.
Oh, okay. So connecting the region.
Yeah, plugging it into the bigger economic picture.
Yeah.
And they were also crucial for, like, the early growth of Buddhism and Telugu culture.
Right. So laying down some deep cultural foundations early on.
Precisely. Those elements still resonate today.
So it wasn't cut off at all, even back then, plugged into the world, shaping its own identity. Makes you wonder how that trade affected the art later on. And that's just the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Then we get some major South Indian powers involved.
Exactly. Building on that, you have the Chalukyas and the Kakatiyas.
Mm-hmm.
They were prominent between, say, the 11th and 13th centuries.
And they left a visible mark.
Oh, definitely.
Oh.
Huge patrons of temple architecture. We'll talk about some specific temples later. But maybe even more lasting was their investment in irrigation.
Ah, water management. Still crucial today.
Totally.
Yeah.
It transformed the farming potential, shaped where people lived. The whole economy, really, their planning, literally changed the landscape.
Wow. Thinking that decisions made, nearly 1,000 years ago still matter on the ground today. That's something.
It is.
But then, like a lot of India's history, new powers arrived, bringing different styles.
Yes, and this next phase really shows how cultural mixing can reshape a place. The Bahmani Sultanate came, and then the Qutbi Shahis.
Okay.
And they introduced a very distinct Indo-Islamic feel, especially in fort architecture. It wasn't just replacing old styles, it's more of a blend.
Fusion.
Exactly. And here's a cool fact from the source. The name Karimnagar itself,
Yeah.
it comes from Sayyid Karimuddin. He was a Qutbi Shahi official.
No way. So the city's name is directly tied to that era.
Right. It's a direct link, anchoring that period right to the present day.
That's a really strong connection. It's more than just a name. It's like a historical marker. It makes you think how different rulers leave their stamp, sometimes obvious, sometimes subtle.
Mm-hmm. And the timeline keeps rolling.
Of course.
The Mughals came next, exerted their influence, maybe a bit less directly here than elsewhere. Then the region became part of the Hyderabad Nizam state.
Right, under the Nizams.
And finally, post-independence, Karimnagar eventually became a key district when Telangana state was formed in 2014.
So it's journeyed through all these different phases, empires, states, creates a really complex history.
Absolutely, a rich, layered identity.
Like each dynasty just added another layer of paint to the picture of Karimnagar. Understanding that journey is pretty key to getting the city today, I think.
I agree.
So, okay, with that history as the backdrop, let's zoom in a bit. What's the place like now? Geography, people.
Right. Setting the scene, our source gives us the basics. It's in Telangana, obviously, and it's the main administrative center for Karimnagar district.
Got it. Any major geographical features?
The Meena River is the big one. It's a tributary of the Godavari and undoubtedly vital for water, farming, everything.
And the people living there. What's the vibe?
Well, Telugu is the main language, as you'd expect in Telangana.
Yeah.
But Urdu and Hindi are also spoken quite a bit.
Ah, okay. So that reflects the history we just talked about, the different influences.
Precisely. And population-wise, the city itself is around 3.2 lakh people. So it's a decent-sized regional hub.
And the climate, just quickly.
Semi-arid, pretty hot summers, milder winters. Standard for that part of the country, really.
So putting it all together, the river, the climate, the people, what jumps out?
For me, it's that mix in the economy you mentioned earlier. Agriculture is huge, which makes sense.
Yeah, paddy, cotton.
Right. But then you also have this major granite industry, plus the traditional handlooms. It's not just one thing.
It's that blend again, isn't it? Natural resources meeting skilled crafts.
Exactly. Land, resources, skills, it seems to be a core theme. And speaking of themes, let's maybe look at some of those tangible links to the past. The historical sites, the temples.
Yes. Let's see. The history we talked about made real. El Gundal Fort. What's the story there?
El Gundal is fascinating because it really shows those layers. Its roots go back to the Kakatiyas.
Okay, the temple builders.
But then, later on, both the Mughals and the Qutb Shahis added to it, fortified it. It's about 12 kilometers out from the city.
Strategic location.
Definitely. Great views from up there. And you can still see old cannons, watchtowers.
Yeah.
You really get a feel for its military past and how power shifted over time. You can almost see the different styles built on top of each other.
Wow. A Kakatiya base with Islamic fortifications, history in stone, literally. And then there's the Vemulawada Raja Rajeshwara Temple. That has a pretty significant nickname, doesn't it?
It does indeed. This one's about 35 kilometers away. It's an ancient Shiva temple, and it's so revered it's often called Dakshina Kashi.
The Kashi of the South.
Exactly. And the source says it draws pilgrims and the lakhs every year. Huge numbers. It shows its massive religious importance, a real spiritual center.
Dakshina Kashi. That name alone tells you volumes about its spiritual importance.
And there's another big temple nearby too, right? Kandagatu. That's right. Also about 35 kilometers out, dedicated to Lord Hanuman Anjaneya Swami. This one has a slightly different appeal, maybe.
How so?
It's up on a scenic hill, surrounded by forests. So it draws devotees, obviously, but also people who just love nature.
Bit of both.
Yeah. And interestingly, the complex also has shrines for Lord Venkateswara and Goddess Lakshmi. So it reflects a kind of broader devotion all in one sacred spot.
So these places aren't just monuments. They're alive, active centers of faith, drawing people together. Really shows how enduring these landmarks are.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit, maybe to the artistic side. The culture, the handicrafts. What makes Karimnagar special creatively?
Karimnagar definitely has a strong cultural identity here. The source really highlights the silver filigree work.
Ah, yes.
It's a major point of pride. Super intricate work with fine silver threads, and its history is tied to patronage from the Niyams.
Another link back to the rulers.
Yes, showing that long connection. It's a really highly skilled art form passed down through generations.
Silver filigree. You can just picture the patience and precision needed. It's beautiful stuff. Are there other traditional arts that are important?
Oh, absolutely. The folk art scene seems really vibrant. The source mentions specific names like Lambadi, Parini Shivata Bam, and Ogu Katha.
Right.
These aren't just shows. They're like living stories carrying history, myths, social traditions, a really vital part of the culture.
It's great that those living traditions are still going strong. And how does the community celebrate together? What about festivals?
Festivals seem huge in Karimnagar. The source points out Bathukama, Samaka Saraka Jatara, and Bonalu as the big ones.
Okay.
Apparently they're really vibrant, full of unique rituals, colors, and just a massive sense of community spirit and devotion. They really show you the local values.
Yeah, festivals often do that, don't they? Bringing everyone together shows strong community bonds. Okay, let's look at the modern side now. Economy, development.
So as we touched on, farming is still a big deal. Paddy, cotton, maize are key crops.
Right.
And that granite mining industry, especially the pink and black granite, that's a major economic engine tied right to the local geology.
And the hand looms.
Still important, notably concentrated in places like Vemulawada, which we already mentioned as a religious center.
Yeah.
So you see that connection again.
Interesting overlap. So traditional sectors are still strong. What about newer things? Is it modernizing?
Seems like it. The source mentions noticeable growth in real estate and education. Urbanization is happening. New institutions are popping up.
Any specific examples?
Sadavahana University gets a mention as a key place for higher education. And Karimnagar is part of the Smart Cities mission.
Ah, okay. So there's definitely a push for infrastructure development, modernization.
Yeah, a clear focus on the future, it seems.
Sounds like it's trying to balance that rich history with, moving forward, which is always tricky.
It is.
Now, if someone's listening and thinking, okay, I want to check this place out, how do you get there? Is it easy to reach?
Connectivity seems pretty decent, actually. There's a railway station right in Karimnagar on the Pettapalli-Nizamabad line. So rail links are there.
Good. And buses.
Yep, a TSRTC bus depot with frequent services to Hyderabad, Warangal, Nizamabad, other big cities. Road travel looks like a solid option.
Okay. What about flying in?
The nearest airport is Hyderabad Rajiv Gandhi International. It's about 180 kilometers away, so a bit of a drive, but doable.
Right, so manageable to get to. Good to know. Now, we've covered history, culture. What about just relaxing? Any natural spots, parks?
Yes, absolutely. For nature lovers, there's the Lower Manair Dam. Sounds like a popular spot for picnics, maybe some boating.
Nice.
And it also serves that practical purpose, drinking water, irrigation, that mix of leisure and utility again. Plus, it's really close to the city, like 2 kilometers. Very accessible.
Handy for a quick escape. Any other green spaces?
Uh-huh. There's Ujwala Park, mentioned as a well-kept city park near the dam, so a green spot right in town.
Okay.
And near the dam, there's also a deer park. Small zoo-like place, maybe nice for families.
Right.
And if you want something a bit more active, the Malur Gutta Forest trails are mentioned. Good for trekking, apparently. And they also have some religious significance. So nature and spirituality combined.
So it really seems like Karimnagar has something for, well, almost everyone, doesn't it? History buffs, culture vultures, spiritual seekers, nature lovers.
Precisely. Yeah. To kind of wrap things up, Karimnagar really emerges as this compelling place where a deep, significant past meets present-day growth quite smoothly.
You really feel that connection through everything we've discussed.
Yeah, the history through different dynasties has woven this rich cultural fabric. You see it in the forts, the temples, the amazing filigree work, the lively festivals. But alongside that strong identity, it's also clearly growing, becoming an important economic center, an educational hub. It's embracing the modern while, holding on to its traditions.
It really does sound like a destination with a lot packed in. Exploring old forts one day, seeing incredible crafts the next, enjoying some nature. It's got a multifaceted appeal. So, as you think about Karimnagar, all those historical layers, the cultural fusion, that balancing act between tradition and modernity we've talked about, maybe consider how that unique mix has really forged its identity.
Yeah, how it shapes its present and future.
It's more than just sites to tick off a list, isn't it? It's like a living story of a region's resilience and spirit. What can a place like Karimnagar maybe teach us about how the past and present are always in conversation?
That's a great question to ponder.
Something to think about until our next deep dive.